So how do I give my class feedback after reading discussion posts? So if I were to click on here, week 2.2 discussion post, there would be a question like, what did you get out of the advice video? This was the advice video that last year's class gave. They created a video and then the students this year watched it, and then the students this year kind of reflected on themselves, that transcendent thinking once again of what this means to them and how it could impact their future in this class after listening to the advice of other students. So they wrote out a response. I want to make sure that they're not like one word answers or anything like that. So I put a limit to a minimum limit to the discussion post. So they're about 200 words each minimum, although many went over. And so I have about 25 students that responded. So how do I give feedback back to the student? And I can certainly respond to each one individually. It isn't a discussion post area where everyone has a chance to look at each other's work. But in addition to that, I thought I would kind of co-construct a response, a feedback that goes back to the entire class through an announcement. So I thought I'd share how I do that. So while I'm reading through each post, if there's something that kind of pops out to me that's like an aha, then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and kind of jot it down in my notes. And then afterwards, I have a list of things, and then I compose like an announcement that goes back to the students and lets them know, hey, these were some of my thoughts. So here's an example. Hello CAS, that stands for Korean American Studies students. Wow, I read and graded all your discussion posts and learning logs. What excellent insights. Here are some things I heard you say. And then these were some things that popped out from the student responses of how they wanted to be successful in the class. This class is a great place to learn, understand who you are, and discover and strengthen your identity and purpose. I agree, because in this course, we're going to help students to know and tell their stories, do something good with their stories. So this student caught on to that. Another student says, understand your own roots and connect with one another, even if they're not the same ethnicity. I'm glad they picked up that too. Although the Korean American Studies class is a great class for Korean Americans, it's for all Americans. And the Korean American story is also a great American story. So I'm glad that they're seeing how they're going to be really connecting and interconnecting with one another, whether they're Korean American or not. This includes understanding the full story of their parents. So oftentimes students know a little bit of their parents' story, but not the detailed story. So this course will give them the opportunity to discover a part of that story through an oral history assignment, whether with their parents or a family member. The connection between the Republic of Korea and being Korean American. So a lot of students will say, yeah, I know a little bit about Korea, I know a little about America, but I never really thought about what it means to be a Korean American. And then if you had asked the students, could you name one Korean American, even if they're Korean American, if you asked them, could you name one Korean American that made a difference in the United States, they would struggle. They would struggle to know the history at all and the intersections and connections to American history, even though there are many. Another bullet point is pushing yourself beyond what is being asked of the course, because the work we do to know, tell, listen, and do something good with our story is for the betterment of yourself, our community, and country. So yeah, I'm glad that the student took that away, that they want to try hard, because yes, it is, I guess, a grade, but it's beyond a grade as well, right? Treat this class like an in-person honors class and have a daily time management plan in place. So yes, this is an honors class. It is ethnic studies credit. And yes, we only meet synchronously one time, and then the work is asynchronous 4 days a week with me giving feedback like this, perhaps one of the days. In this class, it's whole group feedback. And so it's very easy. When you have a teacher like right over you, I mean, you know, it's a lot easier sometimes to stay on top of it, right? Because the teacher's reminding you every single day. But then if you're just getting an email or the plan is in place, it could be harder. It could be harder to manage your time. So I'm glad that they gave themselves this advice. So I thank them for taking these great ideas away from the My Advice video from the students last year. And then I'm kind of launching them now into the next activity, because I'm going to use that feedback then to form the next step in the instruction. So I hope, by the way, me listening carefully to what the student said, especially in the beginning of the year, and giving very specific feedback, this is going to help, because it's going to go, oh, he really looks at this stuff and this really matters. So hopefully the quality of the feedback, I thought that was pretty good this first round, but I hope it will continue to remain high in my giving feedback back to the students. I hope it will help them to have excellent discussion posts and all their work for that matter. But then I give them now the challenge in response to their feedback. What are they going to do with it? Now I want to hear your story. So in the My Advice video, last year's class was using their voice to tell their story. And so the next module will be the students telling their story. And then after creating their Google slide and thinking about why Korean American Studies matters, use your voice to tell your story via screencast recording of yourself and others in this class that want to hear your story, including myself. And so the students are challenged, just as they saw some models and they learned so much from them, they're now going to become, I guess, kind of like the teachers, right? Where they are the knowledge bearers of their own story and telling their story, and others are listening with empathy and respect. Well, I hope this helps with giving whole class feedback. There's a place for individual feedback. This is an example of whole class feedback based on multiple discussion posts that I read. Dr. Jeff signing out.